Welcome to Quarantine Lab, Chapter 12, with Corona Carl and our assistants Trent and Lance. We're going to go head up to this part with the claw. And Trent and Lance are going to have fun operating the claw. They've got some blocks here, and they're going to see who can stack their blocks the fastest. When it comes to the questions for this section of the lab, use your notes and use your book. And some of this also refers back to Chapter 10. All right, so we are ready to go. Trent and Lance are hooked up to the claw. So what's happening is the electrodes on their arms are picking up the electric signals that their brains are sending to the muscles in their arms to make their arms contract. We're sending that electric signal through to this mechanical claw, and it makes the claw open and close. So go ahead and do that again, Lance. As you can see, when they move their arms, they make the claw open and close. All right, guys, we'll count down from 3 and you can start stacking your blocks. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, well, Trent won that round, so congratulations. And next we will move on to doing the human-human part, where one of them is going to be a puppet and the other one is going to be the controller. Now we are ready to do the human puppet part. So here it is, part 4 in your lab. And what we have the same setup on Trent's arm. The electrodes are picking up that signal from his muscles, and we're sending it through a TENS unit into Lance's arm. Now notice we moved his electrodes. We have one there near his elbow. That's on his ulnar nerve. So we're going to put the signal from Trent's arm into Lance's ulnar nerve. So Lance, you're just gonna sit there and relax. Just, his hand is out, you're not doing anything, you're just totally relaxed. Trent is gonna be in control here. So Trent, you're gonna be flexing your wrist. Go ahead and do that. Let's see those lights. So there we can see we are picking up Trent's signals. And the TENS unit goes from 0 to 8. So we're gonna start off at 1 and we're just gonna slowly move it up. Okay, we are at 1. Now we don't typically get results until at least 3. Okay, Lance, you ready to go up to 2?
I guess.
Okay, there's 2. Can you feel something?
I feel a tingle, yeah.
Okay. All right, Trent, stop now. Okay, we're gonna move it on up to 3.
All right, you ready?
Okay, so that movement in Lance's finger, Trent's doing that. And usually when we do this, people laugh a lot because it's really weird to not be in control of your own body. All right, Trent, stop for a minute. You ready to go up to 4? Okay, here's 4. Wait, Trent, you have to wait till I've got the video camera back in place. All right. So Trent is the one making Lance's hand move. Trent, Lance, do you want to be done or do you want to go to 5?
I'll go.
Okay, Trent, stop now. Let me move it and get the video camera back in place. Okay, we're ready for 5.
You ready? Don't care. Crazy. Okay, let's go up. Let's do like 2 on each one for now.
Okay.
Do 2 and then move it up. I'm gonna get to 8.
All right, there's 6.
Okay.
Now you can also try, if you want, flipping your hand over so that you're palm down. It's kind of neat if you do. Okay, here's 7. All right, you can go back to palm up or palm down, whichever you want. Here's 8. You're all the way turned up. Oh, we're getting the whole arm moving.
One more. One more.
All right. Now we have switched the electrodes and it's Lance's turn to control Trent's hand. So we'll go ahead, we'll turn this on. We'll start at 1. Okay. All right. We'll move up to 2.
Feel it? A little bit.
Okay, we'll move up to 3. Now give me a minute to get the camera back in place before you start flexing. Okay.
That just scared me. It's not that bad.
All right, you ready for 4?
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. Don't resist it. I'm not.
Got a little bit of finger movement. Okay, you ready for 5?
Yeah.
Okay, had some more finger movement there. Here is 6. Okay,
You too.
here's 7. It's still just a little finger movement
I'm
is
not
all.
resisting it.
Okay, and one more. Here's 8. Try putting your hand palm down. Getting a little bit of arm movement there.
This does not hurt at all.
Well, that concludes our experiment. And up next is an explanation on the whiteboard that will help you answer questions 20 through 23 on the lab. Here is some information to help you with questions 20 through 23 on your Chapter 12 lab. First, let's talk about the difference between a nerve and a neuron. So we use both of these terms. A neuron is a cell. The picture you labeled at the beginning of the Chapter 12 notes is a neuron. So a neuron has the cell body, the dendrites, the hillock, the axon, the telodendria, and the knobs. That is a neuron. That is one single cell. You have billions and billions and billions of neurons. If you take a group of neurons, and remember the axons can be very long. The axons go all the way from your spine out to a body part. So like example, the tips of your fingers. Those are axons that go all the way from your spine to the tips of your fingers. And there are axons that go all the way from the spine and your lower back down to your toes. So axons can be very long and they tend to travel in groups. If we take a group of axons and we wrap them up, we bundle them together in paramycium and epimycium. That bundle of axons wrapped up together is your nerve. So an axon is a part of a single neuron cell. A nerve is a group of axons from different neurons that's bundled together as it runs through the body. So if we kind of put this in some context of the body, let's say here is the brain. Here is the spine. You would have, if we just look at motor neurons, let's say your motor neurons, you would have a cell body and dendrites here in the spine. You have your hillock, and then you have an axon that comes out, and it goes all the way out to a body part. And you would have another one. And that axon comes out and it goes all the way out to a body part. All of this, where it's those axons bundled together and running through your body out to their destination body part, is the nerve. Another thing to look at now is upper and lower motor neurons. So the one I have here in orange is the lower motor neuron. You would have an upper motor neuron here in your brain that is giving commands to the lower motor neuron. So this is the upper motor neuron. It gives commands to the lower motor neuron. Okay, in the part where we talk about the ulnar nerve, the ulnar nerve is passing through by the elbow. So in a neuron, your parts are the dendrites and cell body and hillock, which are here in the spine. Then the axon is the part that passes all the way through the body. And then there at the muscles that control the fingers is where we would have the telodendria and the knobs. So the muscle that we're stimulating would be right here. All the rest, the majority of it, is the axon. So when we put that electrode near the elbow on the ulnar nerve, that electrode is going in right there on the axon. So let's get a color for the electrode. So that electrode is like right here. Okay, so what's happening in that experiment? The person is told to just relax their hand. So that means that their brain is telling the muscle to relax. That means that the upper motor neuron is giving IPSP here. I'm going to switch to red because your book has IPSPs in red. So this is inhibitory. That means that here on this cell body, we have the potassium and chloride gates open, and we are lowering voltage so that we prevent an action potential. So as far as the brain is concerned, it is preventing action potential here. So that you will not stimulate the muscle to contract. Then what we do with the electrode is we come along, we put an electrode there by the elbow, and we insert that electric signal. And that electric signal that we insert into the person's elbow raises the voltage, which then causes an action potential to start right there at the point where the electrode is. And then that action potential goes the rest of the way down the axon to the knobs, and then you secrete acetylcholine and you stimulate the muscle to contract. And where this electric signal is coming from is the muscle of the other person. So we have another person here. We have their muscle, and we have an electrode on it. So you put the electrode on the forearm of one person, and you pick up that signal, and that is from the sarcolemma. Remember, the sarcolemma of a muscle carries an electric signal. So we put the electrode on the controlling person. Then we tell them to squeeze that muscle, which means they're going to have an action potential on the sarcolemma. The electrode picks that up, it runs through those wires, and we insert that action potential onto the axon of the lower motor neuron in the puppet person. And then that action potential continues along their axon. They secrete acetylcholine, they make their muscle contract. And the thing that's funny about it, or that's weird about it, is that their muscle is contracting. But even though it's contracting, their brain is not doing it. Their brain is still telling IPSP and relax. So they're not making their hand contract. The other person is. Their brain is saying Let's have that muscle relax. It's causing IPSP right here. It is not causing an action potential here. We're inserting an action potential that we picked up from the muscle of another person.